babes, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Stacy. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not new and you're returning, welcome back. If you're new here on this channel, I do beauty, lifestyle, and motivation videos to help women feel beautiful and empowered to go out and live their best life. So if you like those type of content, you will like it here, so go ahead and subscribe, and of course follow me on Instagram at Stacy_stunning, where I am more active. Okay, so guys, for today's video I will be discussing 7 advice I would give to 20-year-old Stacy, or Stacy in her 20s, and also for ladies that are in their 20s, or anyone for that matter in your 20s, because I believe that these points that I have is very relatable. It doesn't matter what gender you are, be it male or female. I feel like you can take away something from the points that I'm about to share. So if you want to see these points that I have to drop or share, please keep watching. Okay guys, so growing up in the Caribbean, I always used to hear my mom and my grandparents and people around me who are older say good advice is scarce. And it's true, because in the world that we're living in today, everyone have different experiences and they want to share advice, but it's not everything is for you. And the thing about myself is I like to listen to advice, but the approach that I take it up as is that, okay, even if I'm listening to somebody sharing advice, it's not everything that they're sharing is going to apply to me. So the way that I approach it is that I would listen to you. It doesn't matter if you're old or you're young, because I feel like God can use anyone and anything to help us to learn and to teach us a lesson. It's not everything is going to be for you, okay? So what you do is you listen, take what belongs to you, and what you don't like, you just leave it, okay? And with that being said, here is my very first tip. My very first tip is that when you're in your your 20s, especially your early 20s, and you get into relationships, because we date, we've been there, right? We date, we meet people, we have disagreement, things don't work out. And what I found now that I'm in my 30s, looking back and where I'm at right now, I'm just like, why did I waste so much sleep? Why did I cry? Why did I beat myself up so much when relationships are, things didn't work out the way that I expected to? I'm telling you, like, especially for the ladies, we tend to take it a little bit deeper when it comes to, when relationships don't work out and all of these different things. And so we, question ourselves. We're like, why not me? What's wrong with me? And we ask ourselves all these questions that's so unnecessary. And so I feel like when you're in your 20s, I'm not saying that you shouldn't date and get to know different people, but I'm just saying, like, don't take it so serious to the point where you lose your mind. Like, I've been hearing stories about people that completely disconnect from living because a relationship don't work. And when you look at their age, they're so young. Like, in your 20s, you're still a baby, even though legally you're an adult, you're still learning. Like, think about it, you just came out of your teens. I remember when I was in my teens, I was a little bit more advanced than most 16-year-old. I got pregnant and I didn't know everything, you know what I mean? So that's what I would say. Definitely when you're dating in your 20s, like, take it easy, take it one day at a time, and don't beat up yourself. Do not beat up yourself, and don't lose yourself over relationships. And I feel like this can apply to male or female. If you're a male looking at this and you're dating women and stuff like that in your 20s, like, don't beat up on yourself if it doesn't work out. Because what I have found is that when you're with somebody and things don't work out, and you feel like this person is the best thing that ever happened to you in your whole entire life, and things don't work out, the next person is usually better than the previous one. That is my experience. And so this is the reason why I can say, don't beat yourself up over relationship, especially when you're in your 20s. And don't get me wrong, I have read stories and I've heard stories about people meeting their true love in high school, and they end up getting married, having kids, having a life, and living a fairy tale life. But if we're being completely honest, that don't happen for all of us. So don't beat up on yourself, and don't be so hard on yourself when you're dating in your 20s. You shouldn't even do that in your 30s, but I would say in my 20s. That's the advice I would give. Okay guys, so thing number 2 is to start investing in your 20s. I started working when I was 17, and if I had known then what I know now, I would have started saving a long time. to be honest with you. Even if you don't have a goal in mind, even if you don't know what you're saving for, don't spend half your money on vanity and nonsense, okay? Save a little thing, even if it's a little part-time job. You know, I know right now because I work in the financial service industry, so I know when you're 18 you can get a tax-free savings account. It's basically a tax savings account where whatever money you put into it, up to your contribution limit, you don't pay any taxes on it. So you save free money and the government don't want none of it, okay? So when you're in your 20s, you get your first job, whether it be a part-time or whatever, try to, you know, gain some financial literacy, okay? Try to, YouTube University is there for everybody to access. Try to educate yourself on savings, investing, and all of these different things. If you think about it, if you start saving early, you start investing early, you can retire early. You'll be so much more advanced than the average young adult, because most young people these days, they don't really think about saving for their future and all of these different things. They leave it until they're in their 30s. But I think it'll be a strategy and it'll be wise, okay? As I said, if I had knew what I knew now, then I would have been way more ahead. I would have been checked off a lot of the goals that I have on my vision board right now, okay? So when you're in your 20s, you get your first job or whatever it is, it could be a full-time or part-time job, start saving. Better yet, start investing your money, because trust me, it's just gonna work out for you. Think about it. Everybody these days, they want to live their best life. And how are you gonna live your best life? One of the ways to live your best life is to have financial freedom. So the earlier you start saving, the sooner you can live that life that you desire to live. Okay guys, so my third advice would be to learn from the mistake of others. And this is very similar to my first point, okay? Learn from the mistake of others, because I always say we're not gonna live long enough to make all the mistakes to learn, okay? Don't wait until you make all the mistakes in the world to be like, oh my gosh, like now I'm gonna learn. No, be observant. Like pay attention to people around you, you know, your friends, your family, social media. A lot of people have their life as an open book these days. So it's so much easier for us to learn, to see where they went wrong or where they went right, and so we can use that as a guide when we make our own decision. Again, everything is not for everyone, but just use your wisdom. I feel like it's really smart and it's a strategy if we can, you know, use the examples of other people to learn and to, you know, fashion our own life and to prevent a lot of the mistakes that we make. We can learn from people, and that's how I have been living my life. And if I were to advise my younger self in my 20s, I would prevent a lot of the mistakes that I saw that I made by just learning from people around us. So my fourth point would be to live life to the fullest and explore to the utmost in your 20s. Because as I said before, I know that you're adult in your 20s, but you're still a baby, okay? Because being the age that I am right now and looking back, I'm just like, yo, you were so young. You had so much life to live. Like, why did you feel so pressured? Don't give in to the pressures of society that said you have to have a marriage at XYZ age and you have to have kids and have your career all figured out. I feel like God places us in this world with different purposes and different tasks that we are to complete. And it's not everybody is gonna complete these tasks and develop at the same time. So don't pressure yourself. If you want to take your 20s to, you know, soul search, find your purpose, know your worth, build self-worth, glow up, start business ventures, do all of these different things in your 20s. That is the time for it, because you don't want to be in your 30s, your late 30s, your 40s, or even your 50s and be like, oh my God, like I feel like I've missed out on something. But for example, let's say you get, I'll just use this as an example because it's easy. Let's say you get married in your early 20s. And I have heard stories of ladies getting married, having kids, and being committed too early that when they get to a certain age, they just feel like, oh my God, like I miss out. And then they stop and then they want to go back. That is going backwards, okay? So take your 20s, okay, to understand life. Ask God to give you clarity and wisdom on your purpose. Discover yourself, discover what you like, what you don't like. If you want to travel in your 20s, do that, okay? but definitely don't give in to the pressures of society that says you have to achieve this by XYZ age. Take time to discover you, discover your purpose, and this is going to help you to live a more fulfilled life as you get older. Okay guys, so my fifth point and advice to Stacy in her 20s, okay, would be to establish passive income. Okay, it is no secret that we're in an era where people, gone are the days when it was a dream to have a 9 to 5, okay, and have that cubicle or the best office in the building. Okay, people want to live their life on their own terms. We want to have our family and still have the luxury of traveling and making money in our sleep. And I feel like the sooner you discover this, how to make money while you sleep, it's the better for you. And passive income is basically making money while you sleep. I think we're all on the hunt to find that. So in your 20s is a time and a season to, test out different things, take risk, and discover a few passive income streams. Because I think in the era of Corona, people have realized that having a 9 to 5 is not enough and it's not secure. Okay, having a 9 to 5, it is not secure. So many people got let go during the pandemic. Okay, and it was a big reality shock for a lot of us. Okay, if you want working in an essential job, you didn't have a job, and I know we all felt the pinch of that. Okay, thankfully I was in a job that's considered essential, so my income wasn't affected, but a lot of people experience a lot of hardship at those times. And you know what would have came in handy? Passive income. There's so many things that you can do. So many things. You can do YouTube. You can do digital products. You can do something that you have a passion about. Like if you have a passion for something, it doesn't necessarily have to be your 9 to 5, because I work a 9 to 5 and I have my passion that I do on the side. Okay, because a lot of times your passion doesn't always end up being the job that you have as a career. Your passion is something that you have to work on, and eventually it will get where it needs to be. But a lot of us have passions outside of our 9 to 5. Okay, so even if it's something that you love, find a way to make it passive. Find a way to make money from it on the side, and thank me later. Okay, my sixth point and advice would be to deliberately start thinking mature. More mature in your 20s. Okay, think about independence. There's a lot of people even in their 20s, they're like so immature. Like you talk to them, you see the way that they're living, and you're just like, yo, at some point you gotta like have a reality check at some point, and don't wait until something happen to say, well, okay, like now I'm gonna wise up. Unfortunately, that's when a lot of us wise up, but don't wait for that. Be deliberate about it. There's information all around us. Okay, make the conscious decision, okay, to seek out wisdom, okay, and to know what you want in your 20s. Like, take time, as I said, take time to explore, know who you are, make decision, have an idea as to where you want your life to be. Don't just be like a leaf waiting for the wind to toss you here, there, and everywhere. Be deliberate, be intentional. At the end of the day, it's, God has the final say as to how our life plays out. But I feel like as individual, we should still have an idea as to where we want to go. We should have a vision. The Bible says, without a vision, the people perish. Without a vision, you will perish. Have some idea as to what you're going to do. If you're planning to move out, okay, when am I going to plan to move out? What steps am I taking to prepare myself for moving out? If you're going to college, what am I going to do? What do I need to do? Don't let your parents have to be behind you or be on you to tell you, oh my God, do this. Clean up your room. Put your place together. You know what I mean? Like, start thinking more mature. Okay? That's for your teens. In your teens, that's your parents' job to do. But I feel like when you're in your 20s, you should definitely start wising up. Start wising up, gaining independence, and don't let anybody have to be over your back, okay? Or on your back and telling you what to do. Okay, and then my 7th point, which is my last point, guys, okay, Now, if you made it to the end of the video, please go ahead and give this video a nice big thumbs up. And we would love to have you subscribe to the channel as well. My last point is to take your faith and your walk with God seriously. Okay? Now I know a lot of us grew up in a household where we would have had some sort of direction as to, you know, what our faith should be, or, you know, the people around us, our family, we grew up, you know, seeing them living a certain lifestyle, or they have a certain beliefs, and naturally we adapt to that. So for me, growing up, I was always in the church. I'm a Christian, so I'm speaking from that perspective. And a lot of times in our teens and our 20s, because we're still so like lack of experience of life, we don't really take our faith seriously. But I would say, okay, the sooner you can take your faith seriously and seek God's face and God's hand to discover what your purpose is, the better for you. Because one thing about life is life have a lot of storms, experiences, obstacles that we have to face. And so the sooner you know, take your faith seriously, it's gonna act as a guide. God is gonna guide you. It's gonna put you in a position where God can speak to you, where he can pour out into you, he can direct you, and that's gonna in turn make your life so much less difficult. Okay, when you face challenges in life, you're gonna know where to turn to, what to do. I feel like a lot of people, because they're lacking this, and I know we all believe in different things, but as I said, I am a Christian, and that's the perspective that I'm speaking from. A lot of times you see people, they go through certain situations and circumstances in their life and they completely give up. A lot of them turn to, you know what, a lot of them end their life. You know what I mean? It's because of this. It's because we just live our life as a leaf. And I'm not saying people who, you know God can't also fall prey to that, because the devil is out to kill, steal, and destroy. I'm just saying that when you take your faith seriously and you allow God to lead your life, it's gonna turn out to be positive eventually. There's gonna be some hiccups, there's gonna be some bumps along the way, but as long as you stay on that path and allow God to lead you, it's gonna be beneficial for you. It's gonna help to model your life, and then you can pass this down to your kids and your generation. Okay, so definitely work on your faith, do your research, and get serious with your spirituality. And those are my advice. Those are my 7 advice for younger Stacy in her 20s, and for women or anyone who is in their 20s and they just feel like they're living their life anyhow, or they feel like they have no purpose or anything like that. Definitely action these, or choose the ones that apply to you, leave what doesn't, and enjoy your 20s. All right, guys, now thank you so very much for tuning into my video today. Thank you for watching. I hope I was able to, you know, give some good advice here. Comment and let me know in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, give this video a nice big thumbs up, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.